There's my notification.
Why can I never see us live? Oh, we're live. Okay. So, going to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hey YouTube, thank you guys so much for being with us. This is the Wasting Your Time podcast, Pro Wrestling Premier Week Special, Night 2. I am Roberto Duke, your co-host. With me, as always, is the CEO, creator of Wasting Your Time podcast, Sean Wilson. J-Dub, let them know that you're still out there.
I'm here. We've had some major technical issues the last couple days. Hopefully the stream is way better than it has been. I hate this.
We're still very, very new to this, so you just gotta bear with us as much as you can. I know it's frustrating. You guys want to hear our professional expertise on these issues, and not being able to hear the whole thing or see it live and see our beautiful faces. But we're doing the best we can. You can still hear us on the podcast, which you did the last episode, on Google Play, Spotify, all of our different podcast channels. John has that part down packed more than I do. But thank you guys for joining us here on YouTube. Thank you for hopefully you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please do so you can get more of the weekly videos that I put out and our Waste Your Time live streams whenever we do them. J-Dub, we're doing okay over there?
I'm trying to readjust your framing here. This is basically a one-man job on my end. So if Bobby's head is floating around over and over again, that's me just trying to readjust his head. So I'm just going to quickly check my phone. Yeah, you can see us, Bobby just floating around on my phone. So I'm going to turn the sound off on that one. But yeah, welcome to the Wasting Your Time podcast, part 2 of our Wrestling Premier Week episode. I'm a little. I had to readjust my setup here just to get hardwired into the internet and stuff. But you can find the Wasting Your Time podcast on Google, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and I'm assuming there's a bunch of other ways to get the podcast. Looking at the stream, we're a little choppy, but still way better than it was the other night. But I'm running off of a super old computer. My laptop's 10 years old, so. But a lot to get into, and let's just get right into it. The first edition of the Wednesday Night War was last night. AEW going head-to-head with NXT. Where do you want to start, Bobby? NXT or AEW?
Let's try NXT. Let's save AEW for last, or for at least second.
Sounds good.
With NXT, the first match right off the gate was the NXT Heavyweight Championship match, which was a barn burner.
Yeah, that is the only match I've watched so far. Trying to fix these streaming issues, kind of put my NXT time, cut it down, so I still have to watch the rest of the show. But the opening match, what a hell of a match! I think we said it was going to be a takeover style card going into it, and it sure definitely was. Had that early takeover vibe. So Adam Cole picking up the win over Matt Riddle, using the old Bob Orton Jr. Cast of the Head trick, bringing back the 80s style of winning via cast.
Mm-hmm.
What did you?
Which is a great shot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a hell of a match, and that's the only one I've seen. But I'm aware of who won and stuff. I was gonna say mildly shocked that they didn't go with a title change on anything, but both shows kind of played it safe on that end. Kind of what was expected happened for a lot of fans, but definitely, I guess, yeah. Your thoughts on the? I'll let you kind of take the lead on just whatever your thoughts on what the NXT put out last night.
Basically, it was a takeover. Basically, all the matches were of high quality, some good stuff going on, especially the heavyweight championship match. And the thing that none of us expected to happen was a WWE main card superstar coming down and returning to NXT, which was Finn Balor, which I don't think anyone on the planet actually expected to happen.
Nope.
And that got one of the biggest pops I think I've seen in a long time. So starting that show off that hot, and you're just thinking, now you have this whole new world of possibilities on how NXT is going to now go into the future, into this whole new thing. Like the endless possibilities now are astounding to think about. So they kicked it off hard. They kicked it off super fast, and the rest of the card still didn't disappoint. I'll be honest, I was able to catch some good highlights on most of the matches. I didn't get to watch the Johnny Gargano match and the stuff with Pete Dunne, but I think someone jumped Pete Dunne. So we already have a good rivalry set with Pete Dunne. And if you can remember who it is, John, or if you know.
I believe it was Damian Priest, formerly known as Punishment.
Yes, Yes. So that looks like that's going to be the newest rivalry with those two, which is nice because we've seen Pete Dunne in the past couple weeks. He's just been winning great matches on NXT TV. So now we have someone who can actually challenge him, and probably a good clash of styles between those two. Going back to Johnny Gargano with what's going on with him, I think this is going to be a rebuild. He's basically going to be the Rock from 1999. He just lost the WWE Championship. He's now regaining himself as a face in the WWE. So he's in an upper mid card, right below the WWE Championship kind of space. So he's still the number 2 guy on the roster, but he's not involved in the A story. So I think that's where Johnny Gargano is going to stick for a little bit, let the storyline between Adam Cole, Finn Balor, and the next person we'll talk about a little bit later on, who made his return. I think they're going to stick with that for a little bit and have Johnny Gargano rebuild himself back up.
Finn Balor is definitely a surprise. I don't know what to make of that move, actually, because he is probably one of their top selling merch guys, and he's moving down to NXT. Is this a long term thing, or is this like a short term, like 3-month story thing? So just because I don't know what they have to do with him, because he kind of got written out by the Fiend at SummerSlam. I don't know where he kind of re-enters the picture a little bit going forward with the new era of TV and stuff.
To me, it looks like that he is now. I don't think this is going to be a limited time thing. I think he is now part of the main NXT roster. I think he's in there for a good long haul until maybe they do another shakeup prior or after WrestleMania. Because really, he's just been treading water for the longest time. So I think he needs a fresh roster and at least a creative team that can actually do something with him right now. Because we still don't know what SmackDown or Raw is going to look like next week. So it could be the roster. The roster is so dense right now that it's hard to put him someplace. Just because even like the mid card championships are held by guys that you want to see on TV, and there's only so many hours in the programming to be able to try and get Finn Balor something that's has some teeth to it. So I think this is a great way to do it. I hope there's a couple more guys from the two main rosters that are going to go back to NXT and fill out roles there just to help have that show have a little bit more star power and give the NXT guys and get some shifts done. So we're not getting the same guys every single week. We can get, like I said in the last episode, have a guy, we have Johnny Gargano, we have Adam Cole in this episode. They won't wrestle next week, but they'll maybe wrestle the week after. So we're getting fresh guys in and out every episode. So I think that might be the plan going forward.
That's one of the nice things about NXT now is they have a huge depth roster now because you got NXT UK to call upon and all their stars, and then you now kind of, I guess it's officially confirmed that it's now no longer the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, it's the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. So the Cruiserweight
Which is odd because we're still getting 205 Live on Friday, so the Cruiserweight Championship is, I would assume, is still going to be defended on that show, but now it's going to be called the NXT Cruiserweight Championship?
I don't know. That's what people are going with. It could have been just a misspeak by like I said, I haven't finished the whole show. It could have been just a misspeak, and it's still possibly the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, because 205 Live does still exist. But if you think about it, having 205 Live as another offshoot of NXT is also quite good, because you get the what am I trying to say? You just get more people getting more reps rather than having just to sit around every Wednesday night, and because NXT UK only does like once a month tapings, or once every 2 month tapings, and then you got 205 Live after SmackDown, so you get more people getting more reps, and then they're not just kind of sitting around and doing nothing for week after week. Because 2 title matches next week on NXT. So you got a Cruiserweight title match, Leo Rush and Drew Gulak, and then you got the NXT UK title, Rey Mysterio's son Walter versus Kushida.
Oh my god, that was good.
The Walter Kushida match intrigues me a lot, because Kushida, he's a New Japan guy, so he can go with the strong style that clearly Walter doles out. So it's not like he's out of his element here.
I think we're going to get a lot of chest bleeding in that match, man, by both parties.
I told you there should be Roderick Strong, Daniel Bryan, and Walter in a 3-way First Blood chops only match. That's my dream match.
Book it for Royal Rumble.
That's my dream match, because I know Roderick Strong has like really hard chops, because I remember from the greatest.
He's relentless.
I remember from the greatest Royal Rumble, him and Daniel Bryan got into a chop off for about 5 minutes, and Daniel Bryan's chest was just purple and almost bleeding, and Roderick Strong's was barely anything, but Daniel Bryan can still chop at the best of them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Roderick is he's gonna get a receipt pretty quick.
Told you, three-way matchup. Daniel Bryan, Walter, and Roderick Strong, chops only, First Blood.
Nice.
That's my dream match.
Nice. Speaking of one of the other dream matches that I think a lot of people were excited for was the NXT Women's Championship match, Shayna Baszler versus Candice LeRae. I watched the majority of this one. This one was another you're not going to get anything less than fantastic with these two. It was a great match.
I heard
it was expected.
People are saying it was Shayna's best title defense so far.
Yeah, it was big time.
But
she was selling. She was doing a great job on her end. Candice was doing some really great face work. And again, it was just right. Just a perfect kind of ending.
I do think we're heading into the end game of Shayna's title reign, though, because it's starting to set up the story where she is very overconfident in her capabilities, and she's going to get caught off guard and lose the title. Kind of like what happened with Kairi Sane last year. She's just way too overconfident, but because she's held it for almost a year, she thinks she's like godlike, and somebody like, I think you said, Dakota Kai would be the perfect foil for that. Just catch her off guard with with one kick and then new champ. But just because more and more people are taking Shayna to her limit and stuff, they've kind of figured out the game plan, but she still thinks she's way ahead of everybody else. That's but I still have to watch that match, but I also still have to watch the tag team title match, which went into an overrun. They were pulling out all the stuff,
which I think was this one was deserved. This one needed that overrun because that final sequence was really well done. Just back and forth. Like there was a couple times where I didn't think Party was going to get that, especially. They were going to get the tag. I think the one guy was going to go for his frog splash. What's his name again?
Who does his frog splash?
I don't know why Dominic Dutch-Kovic. They go, it's not him. That's just the name. But regardless, with Roddy coming in and throwing in his interference and then doing the double team Dominator move. I can't remember what the Undisputed Era calls it. But that was
it was like the Undisputed Era's finisher.
Yeah, the leg sweep.
Oh, it's called Bulldog. Nigel calls it chasing the dragon. Cause,
it was. They didn't call it that. That was like some passion or something, or running for the gold. Or
I can't. Nigel always called it chasing the dragon, because their former team name was Redragon. So but it could have a new name.
But I remember from ECW it was the Dominators that did that. So
but
so that's how I remember it. But I mean the overrun worked well because it showed. It just showed that the Undisputed Era are going to keep these belts. They're still drinking gold.
All titles on the line, War Games.
And especially going to War Games, exactly. It was the MVP of this whole night. I think has to be Adam Cole because at the beginning of the match, he was great. His reactions to Finn Balor were amazing. Him being the cocky leader of the group, saying it in the aisle while the rest of the group was in the ring, and then when the return of Tommaso Ciampa showed up, you just saw this wave of dread come over Adam Cole, and you could just tell that this is not his night. Being the premier of the 2-hour NXT, he's the champ, and he has two big targets on his back to former champions.
He has 3 big targets because Matt Riddle can't be happy but losing via cash shot, and you got Ciampa, who never lost his title officially, and then you got arguably the greatest NXT champion, Finn Balor, just painting a target on his back. Plus, there's always the threat of Gargano and among others.
And then great stuff by Ciampa. Just he didn't even look at Cole, just stared at Goldie the entire time and did a lap around him. Oh, that was beautiful stuff.
Didn't lock eyes with Cole at the very end.
At the very, very end, you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? I'm actually really hoping we don't get Cole versus Ciampa just yet. I want to see Ciampa versus Balor for the #1 contendership. And then maybe something screwy happens and we get a triple threat instead between those three. It's like I think Matt Riddle still might have to get back at the back of the lines in order to get his title shot. But who knows? He might get a rematch while Balor and Ciampa go after each other to try and get that spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said at the beginning of the episode, the possibilities of what's happening in NXT is so exciting. And there's probably still more people coming down after the draft. So just a great show top to bottom. There's the Mia Yim and Io Shirai matchup, which Io killed it. I think this is one of the most devastating moonsaults I saw.
Yeah, I haven't seen one. So still have to watch that. Yeah, gonna get to that. But
NXT ending the way that thing was doing, they were firing all cylinders. They were doing fantastic work. on NXT. So yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah, it was. From everything I've read, it was a very solid show, very takeover show. But let's move on to the competitor for the night, AEW Live. I watched this last night because we don't get NXT Live in Canada, so convenience because I have TSM. So was like I said, I think I said it earlier. Both sides played it relatively safe. Like Dynamite didn't blow me away, to be honest. It was very, very predictable. Still some production issues. They still kind of they took commercial breaks at very weird times. But I guess when they did take commercial breaks down in the States, it was some of them are picture in picture, but that doesn't come across here in Canada. So it just looks like they're taking random weird commercial breaks. Because at the end of the Cody match, Jericho attacks, and as soon as Jericho starts to attack, we're in commercial break. It's like, well, what? And then when we get back, Jericho's powerbombing Cody into some padded chairs, and so there's like a random weirdness of context. Another thing is like after the after the MJF Brandon Cutler match, there was a big lull before that in the next match. A lot of just kind of pacing issues and stuff. But first show jitters. I'm not gonna hold it against it. It just kind of dipped because they had like the weird celebrity interview mixed in with like a SCU pre-tape skit, and then immediately followed by an SCU interview live on the stage. Then
when their clothes changed all of a sudden.
Yeah, when their clothes changed all of a sudden, and then when they did come back, I think TSN cut into the feed early, so it's just like shots of the crowd and it's all quiet, and so it was just production issues. But I'm not gonna hold it against it. It was a very safe show, very predictable. If I'm being honest, I think you should I know why Cody opened up the show, but in terms of I think. If I was to put the show together, I would have put Hangman and Pac on first. Just kind of, that was to me that was the best match of the night. Because I don't count the tag matches because it was really like half a match that we actually did get to see. Because the first half was just the adventures of Moxley and Kenny through the crowd. Like there was 2 minutes of a match, and then Kenny and Moxley. I'm wondering what the rest of them did in the ring while they were, because clearly they probably showed that on the big screen so the crowd could see what was going on. Were they just kind of standing around and doing headlocks or something?
Probably just tussling outside on the apron or on the floor.
So it was really like half a match. So that's
yeah.
I can't really judge the quality on that because we didn't really get to see the full. They weren't really going at full speed till they got back from commercial break and stuff. So I can't judge. To me, that's just an incomplete match. I'm not going to judge the Bucks on that.
It was an Attitude Era match, main event. It's just a big clusterfuck of just run-ins and weapons and chaos, really. So it felt very late '90s to me.
Yeah.
So for the '90s kid in me, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." Seeing this crap happen again, and of course the smart news is like, "Oh my God, come on, get some real shit going on." But we had a full night of really good matches and storytelling. So for that to cap it off with this and such a good clusterfuck, I think that was something that really needed to differentiate themselves from NXT, because we had pretty much a basic NXT safe kind of wrestling show that we're used to from NXT, and now we're getting something that a lot of fans, especially last fans, haven't seen in almost 20 years.
Yeah, let me explain more about the I would have started with Pac and Hangman, because that didn't really, because they started off kind of even the whole. I don't think they were going full force for this one either. It seemed like this is like half of what these guys could do, and that's why I'm surprised they gave it away first on free TV and didn't do it at the pay-per-view, when they can go just balls to the wall.
I think it seemed more like Pac was holding it back a little bit more. Like Hangman was going like the pace that I'm comfortable seeing him in, but no, it was Pac for sure. I have to make sure I'm calling him Pac. I think he's verified. His name is Pac, not Pac.
Okay.
So Pac. Yeah, Pac went. Anyway, went a couple speeds down.
Like I said, I would have started with that one just because the way the match built to the Black Arrow into the Brutalizer and thing. But like just because there was that lull right after the first match, you could have had Cody in the middle there and then bring the crowd back up to because the Pac and Hangman match started out kind of slowly. It built to the thing, so if you had Cody out there, he probably would have brought the energy back right away, rather than having it build to another energy type thing. So that's why I would have started with it.
Okay.
Just flip those two matches around, and then you probably would have had a hot crowd the entire show, because that middle part, like that second match, the MJF and Brannigan didn't really do much for me. Even MJF's promo at the beginning is that's not his best version of his promo. He just kind of took the low-hanging fruit.
Oh, because I'm sure I'm sure he had to. I'm sure they told him, it's like, okay, we're on TV, you can't go as hard as you usually do, so you gotta scale it back just a bit. And yeah, like you said, low-hanging fruit, do the easy insults in order to get the casuals, on board. You were a freaking heel, and it was a short match, which is a shame, but whatever. You gotta time it for TV properly.
It was just the crowd was kind of in a lull, and then they built back up because the end of the women's title match, the crowd was just absolutely on fire. Then it continued on into the main event and stuff. So it was just kind of an up and down crowd reaction for the night. So if you flipped the Cody match and the Pac match, you probably would have had a crowd reaction even through the entire night. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold it against it. It's the first show.
Yeah. Just to go against with you, I would have put either kept the women's championship where it was on the card, but I would have skipped the whole Kenny run-in because it felt weird because
that was weird.
Very end of that segment. Yeah, and then he's in the main event. He goes back in and then comes right back out. Like it just felt a little bit odd. Pacing wise, the first time we get to see Kenny Omega on in the arena is helping out Rio.
Yeah.
So that felt a little bit weird. But I'd actually have to say I like the hot opener because that crowd was just bonkers for him. It was basically Cody is the Hulk Hogan of AEW. So have that crowd that hot. Of course, there's going to be a lull. They're going to dip just because they've already spent a lot of their energy, especially for. I wouldn't say it's a fast-paced match because that's not Cody's style. He's very deliberate and old school with his stuff. But having Sammy being, he's the jumping bean, he's the high flyer, gets this ground and pound kind of technical style. It's good to see a wrestler that's Cody is now the wrestler that I like to watch. Is a guy who has a great moveset. He has a whole bunch of stuff in his arsenal with a technical style, but he can still tell a story in a deliberate kind of way in the ring. So that's the style that I like. The guys like the Benoits and now the Daniel Bryan who can tell these great stories in the ring with their capabilities. So I'd say that match needed to stay where it was. But of course, I understand your position on it. I think, that was actually the match of the night for me, was that opener.
And another thing is they usually put Cody in the middle of the card just so he can hype up the crowd a lot. Just because usually you do suffer that mid card lull and stuff. So usually Cody is sent out there, especially based off their previous stuff. He's usually sent out there to get the crowd back into it.
Yeah.
So it was just weird that they had him open the show, and then you had this huge lull, and then it took. Anyway, I'm not gonna hold it against it. It's their first week of TV. They did continue on a couple of the angles with Moxley and Omega, and then Cody and Jericho and stuff. So that was good. I don't know where Pac and Hangman go from here, because It was a pretty definitive win for Pac.
So I mean, it seems like it's I think it might be just they may either go the separate ways and then meet back a little later on. But I think the story goes from All Out was basically having Hangman. He's on a losing streak now, and Pac is on this winning streak. So you might have somebody who might be challenging Cody for that number one contendership. Granted, it probably won't go to Pac because he is a heel versus another heel. Really doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense right now. But I mean, I think that might be the positioning that where they go, because Pac is really just coming in and running roughshod and saying and doing whatever he wants and getting away with it just because he has that clout right now. He has 2 wins against 2 members of the Elite. So yeah, he's gonna be riding high. So I think there might be some positioning there. Maybe you might have into Pac has to go against all the members of like Cody's kind of cabal. Like he may have to go through MJF in order to get a shot against Cody to get a new number one contendership or have that new status. I don't know how this whole
Jericho is defending his
wins and losses record.
Jericho's defending his title in 2 weeks, so
yeah,
I think they're having
could be Pac.
I think they're having a number one contenders match next week.
Interesting.
I don't know. I can't because I know the tag title tournament starts next week. That's all I know. And they showed off the belts last night, or Jay and Silent Bob showed off the belts last night,
which was awesome. I really like that. That was fun.
Just it was just a weird. I'm not going to comment on the celebrity involvement last night because every wrestling company tries to do it. So why not AEW?
Well, yeah, that one also made sense. It wasn't like some random celebrity trying to hawk their stuff. He's with Chris Jericho for their movie, so there is at least a connection there, and at least it's a celebrity that's very vocal on social media, so that helped get the buzz going. And Kevin Smith and Jay Muse, I don't think are wrestling fans, so that's probably a pretty cool endorsement to have someone who's not a part of this thing go to their first show and be the very first episode of AEW, and especially the way Kevin Smith talks, he's going to talk off the shit out of it. So that was very strategic, very good on them to be able to bring them in. So I thought that was a lot of kudos to them. But also I'm biased because I'm such a fan of Jay Muse and Kevin Smith. But there's a whole bunch of his fans out there too. So maybe you're going to get these fans who've never heard of or never watched wrestling, maybe come in because of this glowing endorsement from Kevin Smith. So I think, yeah, I didn't mind it all that much. And it was cool to see Jack Evans and Helico come in and get a little bit of an angle. So, I mean, that just shows that they're chicken shit heel tag team that we'll probably get to see maybe in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to judge because it's the first episode, so I'm not like overly there. My issue is just like the middle lull and like just a couple production issues, just because it was the commercials and stuff. It was just random. Yeah, it seemed, but I guess I didn't find out till after the fact that I guess they had picture in picture down in the States, so it was just it just made it look weird up here compared to down there. So.
I think that's been the story of AEW is they haven't been able to figure out how to build a card for their main shows and now for their TV. So I think that's going to have to start really paying attention to how they build that card. Yeah, because we talked about the All Out where it was really top heavy, had a big middle, and then it built itself back up in the mains.
Yeah.
So I think they really have to. To play around with how they book a show, because I know they're probably used to the Indies show where they can have banger after banger after banger, but they don't have a roster that can produce that kind of stuff right now.
Like even if they have some like backstage stuff, like even if they start doing backstage stuff, like you could add like a pull apart bra with like Janela or Havoc or something, or it was like I said, it's hard to judge them on one episode, so. It's a solid start. Yeah. Let's move along the card. We had Riho and Nyla Rose for the for the women's title. This one was a building crescendo and stuff, typical David versus Goliath. I think we both picked Riho to win, but I think it was the smart choice. I don't know why Britt Baker had to be on commentary because she really didn't talk the entire time.
Didn't say anything. Yeah, exactly. This was a very close second to the match of the night. There was a couple little botches here and there, but I mean, I'm not going to hold it against anyone on that one because I mean, a lot of the stuff that they were able to pull off would just look fantastic. Like I think the Riho crossbody from the ring, top rope to the floor, that was just.
It's good.
That was scary, but it looked so good.
It's good that Nyla Rose was there to catch her because it would have been just a loud, motionless thud.
Oh Jesus! And someone's dead on the ground.
Because as we know,
my God.
let's refer to Raw a couple weeks ago where one of the Viking Raiders went to the top rope and did a somersault and nobody caught him. Just flat back bumped right onto the floor. So it was good that she caught her, but the crowd was hot. Yeah. The crowd, I didn't think they knew what to make of it for the beginning, and then it started building and building and building, and then by the end of it, the crowd was just absolutely on fire for Riho.
Yeah, that was fantastic to hear that the crowd get behind her. Because I remember in All Out, like. Even I was kind of bored at the Riho match, so and that was just basically being burned out from all the matches that we happened beforehand. So it was good that they were able to keep the fans. They got a hold of the fans. They were able to keep them and bring them in hotter and hotter and hotter, leading to the end. So good on them. It was a great match.
Yeah.
The right person won.
Yeah, the right person did win. Let's finish up the main event. What was originally a 6-man tag turned into a 3-on-2 handicap match because about 2 minutes into the match, Jon Moxley, a wild Jon Moxley appeared and decided to beat up Kenny Omega just cause. He was advertised to appear, so you might as well make it impactful. So this basically. Covered the first half of the match, was just following them with the camera and stuff. Kenny hit Jon Moxley with a mop, then Moxley hit the Death Rider through a glass table, which he basically took the entire bump. So basically, Jon Moxley sat ass first into a glass table. That's basically what he did. He sat ass first into a glass table.
Yeah, it was gross.
And then we went.
It was gross to watch.
Then we went to a commercial, and then when we came back from commercial, it was the Bucks versus Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho, and it played out how everybody kind of expected it. The Bucks taking the loss, just due to the numbers and stuff. Still trying to get that Judas effect over as a finishing move.
I think it's over. I think it's actually
it's over. It's over.
But quite well.
When he hits it like perfectly, it looks great. But like otherwise, it just kind of looks like he's just kind of just swinging his arms randomly at some points. But like the perfect one was the Hangman Page one from All Out, All Out.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
But that one it can be effective, but it's all about timing with that one. And I think Jericho's still trying to get the timing down on it. It helps when somebody's holding up the opponent. Then he can just kind of do it at his own pace, and it hits. Kind of like with Cody at the end with the beatdown. Speaking of the beatdown, let's talk about their big surprise. Jack Swagger, or Jake Hager, or whatever you want to call him.
Jake Hager.
And the crowd went apeshit for this, even though I don't think these people knew who this person was.
Exactly who he was. Like, oh, that's that. Wait, who?
Swagger.
Hold on.
Swagger was a champion when I was not watch wrestling.
Same with me. So,
and everything I've ever heard about this guy is he's a charisma vacuum.
Yeah, and I've seen some clips of him, and it's just like, oh, this is harsh. He that's why they needed that one guy to be his mouthpiece, because he's He's very physical. He's very big. He looks intimidating enough. But other than that, yeah, it's like just shut your mouth, have someone talk for you, and you'll be fine.
Can't go wrong with pairing with Jericho then.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Probably got one of the best mouthpieces alive. Because if he could be an enforcer, he could probably be his best role. I like how they were trying to push him as like this dangerous MMA fighter, but if you've ever seen any of his opponents in his 2 MMA matches, they're the equivalent of what jobber matches are. The one guy he fought last time, it looked like they paid some random guy in the parking lot $50 to fight him. It was his 2-0 record in MMA is not filled with highlight reel finishes. Just out of shape fat guys falling down and him putting on a choke.
Nice.
So I don't know. It wasn't really a surprise because I think we discussed it on Tuesday that it was kind of expected that he might show up. So
yeah.
When CM Punk says no, you'd go to Jack Swagger.
Oh my God.
But if they're starting a stable to counter the Elite, it's not a bad stable if you think about it. You got a high quality tag team in LAX. You got the muscle in Jack Swagger, and you got the mouthpiece and the champion Chris Jericho. And then you got the X-Pac role, I guess, in Sammy Guevara. So it's not a bad stable. If it is going to be a stable.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah, it must be.
Although I will say this to close the show, that table bump that Dustin Rhodes took, ow! Like why can't they get the balsa wood tables nowadays? Why do they have to get the reinforced hard quality walnut tables? It looked like because it was just a loud thud and he slid off.
And then it just fell to pieces afterwards.
Yeah. Anyway, that was AEW's first show.